What is going on, everyone? And welcome back to another Sports Talk on Tap video. We're here. You can find daily videos Monday through Friday, covering all the four major sports leagues, whether that be NBA, NFL, NHL, or MLB. And Nick, in today's episode of the NBA, back to off-season stuff. And we figured, let's rank every point guard, heading into next season. Every team's, starting point guard. It may vary, teams like leading ball handler, But, I think overall we'll be pretty, accurate with this list, hopefully, and kind of, figure out what we can do with it. I'm curious, for anyone that's seen our shows before, we always do one team or maybe one team for each conference reserved and S for the best point guard in that tier. Then, A, B, C, D, and F, it should be pretty, straightforward. Nick, I'm excited to see what we agree on, disagree on, as we kind of go through the list. With that being said, I guess we can just get right into it, Nick, where we start off with the Milwaukee Bucks and Damian Lillard. If you were to ask me before last season, some could have argued S for just that conference or, high A. I still want to give him, despite, how, he did regress in some areas, and maybe it's age, maybe it's a new system. He still averaged 25 points per game. Still decently efficient from downtown. I still want to give him, the benefit. I still think he's a top 9 point guard in this league. I would say I would still put him probably in like high B right now is where I'd lean.
I was still thinking A, but you might know more about it than me. So I'll give you, you're going to have the tiebreaker vote. So I'll give you that.
Yeah. I we'll see. That can move around. We'll see how many point guards we actually think is better than him. But they'll kind of go with time as it is. Next is the New York Nets. I don't know, or Brooklyn Nets. Sorry. If we want to do Dennis Schroeder or Ben Simmons, I think either way for me, they still don't really do it for me. I'd say Dennis Schroeder, can score a little bit. I'd probably put him in D because he's not terrible, but probably just D.
I agree. D is
where it's going to be one season for the Nets. Cam Thomas, though, may average 30 points per game, so that'll be fun at least. Next team, New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson. I mean, if we're doing an S tier for conference, you could argue him. He's definitely up there. I really like his game. So there's many different ways we could go with it, but he's up there at the very least high A. For now.
I was thinking A. I'm trying to think of other, point guards in the East that might compete with him, but it's tough to think of that now that,
Yeah.
We're on.
I don't know. He might be the best in the East. So if we're going to stick to that or just one overall best point guard, we can just put him.
Maybe we can just do one overall.
Yeah. All right. So Jalen Brunson, though, high A after his playoff run and just the season he had, he keeps getting better, finding the ways.
Mm-hmm.
So very excited. High expectations in New York next year, and he's a big reason for that. Next is the Toronto Raptors. I believe Emmanuel Quickley, is kind of their main point guard, running point. He's solid, can score, but, nothing crazy. I'd probably put him in, like, the C range.
Okay.
Emmanuel Quickley's got a nice little bag to him, though. Next team is the Utah Jazz, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's Colin Sexton who's like the point guard there.
They got him in the Donovan Mitchell trade, correct?
Yeah, and Colin Sexton to me is honestly so underrated. He scores at a very high clip. Last season, 19 points per game in only 27 minutes and played 78 games, so high volume. But there's areas where he lacks in like defense and stuff. So I would put him high C, though. I think he's not talked about enough.
Okay. I was thinking B, but if you want to go high C, that's okay.
We could go low B. I'm not mad at that. I just felt a little bit weird. Maybe we'll move Dame up probably to still maybe the lowest A. But we can move Colin Sexton up low B minus, Damian Lillard low A if we want to, or figure that out as we go.
Well, we'll sweat it out.
Yeah. Next point guard is Fred VanVleet, solid contributor to the Rockets, 17 points per game. Grabs dishes out like 7 assists, gets some rebounds, plays solid defense. I think overall his game's solid. His efficiency has dipped a little bit though. So similar to Colin Sexton, he's still probably low B though for me. He's still very solid.
Okay.
Next is CJ McCollum of the Pelicans. He's still good. I don't know if we want. I'd still probably put him in like the low B. He's still solid.
Another
But
B, yeah.
I
Okay.
think we're kind of mutually there. Next point guard, D'Lo. D'Angelo Russell scores.
This one's tough. I feel like D'Lo can either be a D point guard or he looks like an A+ point guard at times.
I think we're going to go somewhere in the middle, high C. He can score the ball at a very high clip. I think most three-pointers made in the Lakers season, so D'Lo can definitely score. But just the playoff moves for me have to say something. He's struggled in the playoffs, whether it be with Los Angeles, with Minnesota, with Brooklyn, and just very inconsistent and not great defensively. So for me, that is what it is. Chicago Bulls, new starting point guard, Josh Giddey. We'll see how he fits in this new system. But, yeah, probably just going to be an S with the Bulls. They're going to take off, be the 1 seed. For me, probably D, just the season he had. I get it with fit and stuff. If people want to say that, maybe he'll do better on a tanking Bulls team. But either then, he's not going to contribute to winning basketball. Next point guard. My man, Minnesota Mike Conley. I think perfect veteran next to Ant. Shoots the ball at 45% from 3, 12 points per game, high assist to low turnover ratio, which is what you always look for. He's getting up there in age though, but even then, he's still a solid floor general. Isn't a defensive weak link. And overall, I like him. I'd probably throw him, low B. I think he's a little bit better than D'Lo, for team winning purposes.
I would have even said like middle B, but if you want to,
I would put him over probably CJ, probably around the Fred VanVleet, just because at the end of the day, he isn't the most high usage player, and that's probably going to dip even more next season with Rob Dillingham getting a lot of run. Joe Ingles will probably get some. But, based on the season he had last year, he'll still definitely be a great, basically, three-point shooter, a passing man, and, just kind of doing his job. Much better fit next to Anthony Edwards than D'Angelo Russell was. So with that being said, that is that. And then point guard for the Trailblazers, I believe we'll classify Anthony Simons as shooting guard and put Scoot Henderson here because I believe he's going to get a lot more run next year. And he's basically going to have to be the team's future. But based on last season, I mean.
That's D or F.
Yeah, there's no other way to sugarcoat it. The potential's there. I think if we want to give him generous and say he looked better in the second half and throw him in D, we can do that. But it was, basically, it's also maybe a little bit projecting for next year.
Yeah, he's a little. You can't completely bury him yet. We got to give him another year or two.
Yeah. Next, Jamal Murray. This one's tough because he's kind of missed, some regular season games with, injuries and stuff. And then this year, everyone kind of forgave him for not having, the best regular seasons because he's a playoff riser. And this past season, we saw a mixed bag, very inefficient versus the Lakers, but did hit 2 game winners. And then Timberwolves, the 4 games they lost, he was really bad. The 3 games they won, he was pretty much on. So, but just too inconsistent for me. And I think for everyone, even Nuggets fans would say, definitely wasn't his best performance. I would still, give him the respect. Second best player on the championship team. We could throw him in like the low A, high B plus area.
I was going to say high B just because of the inconsistency.
Yeah, the playoffs, Jamal Murray, we see weren't there. And that's kind of the problem you get sometimes with playoff risers is when we have a situation where they don't rise and kind of have a pretty, average playoffs as a whole, then it's kind of, disappointing. Next team, say Gilgeous-Alexander now, point guard, the official, and Josh Giddey's gone. Nick, this may be a hot take to you, may not be, but in my opinion, SGA has proven he is so good. It's probably for me either him or a guy coming up as the best point guard in the NBA. But for now, we can throw him, I would say, even ahead of Jalen Brunson at that high A+ spot.
There's a few A's ahead, but I wouldn't have been mad if you wanted to put him in S.
I was thinking that was my hot take.
MVP candidate. Like, it was him, Giannis, and Jokic.
I'm just curious. Maybe come a debate. I think it's between him and this next guy, or not this next guy, but the guy after. We have John Morant. John Morant, very good when he's on the court. Still, the jump shot needs some work, but I assume he'll come back fully healthy. I'd still throw him in low A. Still one of the best in the league.
Do we want to move Dame down to B? Is there too many A's right now, or
no? It's fine for now.
Okay.
The question, Nick, is: do we want to put Luka or SGA in S tier?
Luka? You mean Kyrie?
Oh, well, I classify Luka as the point guard there.
Oh, see, I was thinking Kyrie here. I know Luka usually does run the point, but
both of them really do run point guard. So take with that you will, because Luka isn't classified as a shooting guard because.
I was putting the Mavericks in high A regardless. Like, if we're going Luka, it's a S because he's
So Luka is the S tier. He is the point guard too. We could also give Kyrie a shout out probably if we were to rank Kyrie in this. Just we don't have too many logos, 2 Dallas Mavericks logos. He'd also be A. But Luka, just what he did leading them to the finals in the clutch shot making, very consistent. But SGA is right up there. You can go band for band with anyone. So with that being said, we'll move into the Spurs where it's going to be CP3 leading point probably. And for me, he still provides a lot of leadership, valueship. Biggest question mark will be injuries. And he has slowed down. That jumper isn't the same what it was. But I wouldn't mind putting him still low B, high C, whatever we.
I was thinking in the B area, more so for his like you just brought up his leadership value more so than anything.
Yeah, that's a fine spot for me. Next, point guard. We didn't mention this, but the new starting point guard, I have a feeling will be Tyus Jones, who was just recently signed a couple days ago for the Phoenix Suns because. Before that, it was a mix of Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, KD. But I think Tyus Jones, Booker at the 2, Bradley at 3, KD at the 4, Nurkic at the 5. I think Tyus Jones is a great facilitator. We saw him in his days with the Grizzlies when, that famous thing of the Grizzlies record without Ja is better. And Tyus Jones was a big reason for that. He can shoot the 3-ball well, high assist to turnover ratio. He fits right in with the Mike Conley area for me, and just even younger. So shout out the Suns. They got a good deal on a guy that took the minimum to come there because he wants a starting job that he can compete with, and they want to re-sign to the Wizards. So very underrated pickup. Next, Nick, we move to the Clippers where it's still James Harden. James Harden. He still has his ups and downs, but he still has high highs. And I think overall had a better regular season than the last couple. He just accepted his role, seemed to buy into Tyronn Lue's defense, and fit his role well. And so for that, I kind of want to give him his respects. The playoffs, he had his high highs and low lows again, but I do understand them losing to the Mavericks just because the Kawhi injury and stuff, and he tried to backpack them, and he had a couple great games in that. So I want to give him his respect and put him maybe right behind Damian Lillard. I think this is a good spot for him.
Okay, that's a lot higher than I would have given him, but you gave good reasoning. So
I think he had a better regular season than Jamal Murray, and I think playoffs they're kind of the same, both inconsistent. So kind of it was either higher than Jamal, but the beats are kind of racking up. So It is what it is with that. Next up is the man Chef Curry. He is still really, really good. But I do fear, age and, just a season of basically having to carry the Warriors the last couple of years in the season. You start take a toll on him in the second half where the efficiency really dipped. But he's still one of the best point guards in the game. I'd fit him, around the Jalen Brunson, right ahead of Jalen Brunson or right behind, depending on how much you want to value that playoff run. Jalen Brunson just went on.
You were starting to worry me there. I thought you were about to put him in like high B. I was going to say, dude, it's Steph Curry. Like, we got to put this man.
Oh, no. People may have questioned why he's still not S.
I was thinking of him because going into it, I was thinking, just Kyrie as the Mavericks point guard. Luka wasn't on my mind. So I was thinking maybe putting Curry up there. It was like Curry, Shea, or Kyrie for my S tiers. So.
Yeah, for me, in my opinion, I think he's still around, top 3, top 4 point guard. Some people still have him number 1, but just what Luka did these last couple seasons, what he did just this last season, arguably should have won MVP, leading them to the finals. In SGA, top 3 in MVP voting, like the last 2 seasons, are top 5, 30-plus points per game. Just the definition of consistency. Great, also underrated defender. I got to put him, at the top. Next, we have Cade Cunningham, where I think he actually has kind of grown a little bit despite Detroit being a dumpster fire, but he still, the efficiency, still needs to get better. But overall, I think he's developed as a player. It just sucks he's in the situation. I'd still throw him in, high C, like ish area for now.
Okay.
I
blame. Do you want to move any of these guys down? Like, do we want to move Fred VanVleet or CJ McCollum down at all? Is there too many Bs?
We'll see how the rest of the list plays out. Yeah. Okay. Next. Maybe we can move maybe Fred and CJ down the more I think about it.
Okay. Because I was going to say, it looks like there's too many Bs.
Yeah. But they're still high quality players, just, tier list reasoning. Next, De'Aaron Fox. Still one of the, best players, at scoring at the rim, but I've seen in production he's kind of by attacking the rim less and less each season, focusing more on that jumper, where the jumper has gotten better, but the best part of his game is athleticism, so hopefully he kind of used that more. But he's still one of the best, passing yards, playmaking, can, dish out, score the ball, 26 points per game last season. And just one of the most athletic point guards, if not the most athletic point guard on this list, the way he can jump, sprint out, get in transition. I have him probably right around the 10 area in point guards. So for me, that's either low A or high B.
Okay. Looking at the rest of this list, I mean, I might see 1A after this. So do you want to put him in A?
Well, yeah, we can put him in there for now. Give him his respect. Okay.
So I think there's only 1A remaining. Or maybe two. All
right. Next, Darius Garland. I still think he has a lot of potential, but, the inconsistencies with the shooting has kind of always been a weak point for him since Donovan Mitchell has gone there. So for that reason, I can probably put him somewhere in the B range.
Okay. That wasn't my other A, so I'll give you that.
Oh, yeah. Somewhere in the Bs. Next, Jrue Holiday reminds me of like a Mike Conley, but steroids on defense. So I'd put him probably ahead of Colin Sexton, just his value to winning the 3-point shot. He has this, before the Celtics season, he's always had like these weird clunkers with the Bucks, where he will shoot like 3 of 18, but the Celtics did need him on that high usage. And overall was very efficient, can dish the ball out, play some great defense, get, a game-winning steal. For me, he's right up there, maybe right behind Jamal Murray. I put him high B.
Okay. I was curious if we were going to go Derek White or...
No, Jrue Holiday. Derek White shooting guard.
Okay.
But yeah, no. Either way, I would still... They play very similar roles. I think Jrue Holiday may be just a little bit more impactful defensively and playmaking wise. With that being said, then we move to Tyrese Maxey, where Nick, I think this may have been one of your other A's. The leap he took, 26 points per game. Looked great in that Knicks series. Won them a couple games. He's a dog. I'd put him right ahead of De'Aaron Fox.
Yep. He was one of the 2 A's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next point guard, LaMelo. It's all about potential and talent. It's there. He just can't stay healthy. So for that alone, either like low B or high C, just because we haven't seen him playing a lot at all.
I'm going to put him in C just because the health factor is too much for me.
If everyone getting mad, it's like you got to play because if he's basically been a ghost town since 2021. So
when he's on the court, he looks really solid.
It's just you can't be on the court for less than half the season and then expect us, respect it. We're a guy like at least Colin Sexton's playing 78 games. And that's not a knock on LaMelo. It's sometimes just things he can't control, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. The point guard for the Washington Wizards, I'll still stick with Jordan Poole, although he might move to shooting guard depending, what Bud Carrington does and stuff. Jordan Poole, most of the season was a disaster. He, I'm not gonna lie, underratedly picked it up in the months of March and April, I thought. And I kind of want to just, give him his respect for the Warriors and just kind of throw him in low C and just kind of, it's not, a huge projection, but I think he'll also benefit from a guy like Bub Carrington being ball handler as well and, not taking too many shots. Alex Sarr is going to be there now, Keyshawn George. So I can throw him in with low C. Just I want to put some respect on his name.
Okay.
Because I don't think he'll be as bad as he was last season.
It's tough to get worse than that. I'll just say that.
Yeah. But if we want to, throw him an F for the memes or, D, it's whatever. I just,
I mean, I don't think there's really an F point guard in the NBA. They're all pretty solid. The
way we look at this, I don't think there's, anyone that, sticks out as this guy. The closest one would probably be Ben Simmons if we did him, but Dennis Schroeder is not like an F point guard.
Yeah.
So, take that with what you will. And then next team, Nick, Jalen Suggs of the Orlando Magic really just keeps getting better year after year. One of the best defenders in the league. Can hit the 3 ball at a 40+%. So I would probably put him in the B range, kind of like a Mike Conley, just younger and better on defense. So right around that area, I think. Or you could, maybe, I'd say around there. Either way, in the Bs. A little bit worse than or a little bit worse than Drew Holiday overall, but kind of reminds me of a Drew Holiday type.
Mm-hmm.
The next is the Miami Heat. I don't know if we want to do. I think Tyler Hero is more so of a shooting guard, so we'll put Terry Rozier here, point guard. I think he'll have a better year than he did last season with Miami, but it'll be tough. It'll be interesting to see how he fits because he's always been kind of a weird guy to fit next to players. But he can score the ball, make some plays. I would still put him probably high C, low B, probably high C.
Yep, I was thinking high C also. Shout out for yourself.
Next player is Ice Trey. He's still really good. And I think he'll probably excel even more without Javonte Murray being there. I think, getting a guy like Zachary Russo should be good, just a 3-and-D guy to put next to him. I would probably put him still probably in low A.
So are you thinking Tyrese in A too, or Tyrese in B? I was for the other A point guard. I had Tyrese, and I would have put Trey here. But if you want to put Trey up here, that's cool.
I'd put Trey there, and then we can honestly. I'm cool with putting Tyrese there. But it is tough because people forget he couldn't score the ball from 3-point range for basically 3 months.
Yeah, he also. Yeah, you are right.
But he's still one of the best passers. And you can't forget those first 2 months where he led them to the in-season tournament finals. Still one of the best playmakers, and he kind of redeemed himself in the playoffs. Had some great games against the Bucks, and just overall the iconic New York Knicks Game 7 where he dropped 4 3-pointers in a row. So I'm cool with putting him low A as well. Maybe that's just the range I'm good with.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
He redeemed himself in the playoffs. If, they bowed out in like 6 games, to the Bucks or Knicks in the playoffs, then I probably would have put him high B. But, he did have some great games that can't be, not brought to light. And I think, that 3-point shot looks good with Team USA. So maybe some more consistency will be there. With that being said, overall, that will sum up our list of the best point guards in the league, or just the rankings. Let us know in the comments what you agree, disagree with. Did we miss anything? Was there absurdly someone overrated, underrated in our list? Let us know in the comments. But as always, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. And we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.